Convos. It's your boy, the one with the scar on his face, your boy Scarface. Welcome back to another episode. Thank you guys every week for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Every week you guys are tuning in to a brand new episode. I really do appreciate you guys. Also, if you want to continue supporting the podcast, naughtyscience.com, sponsor the podcast. If you're looking for some toys, some tools to experiment with your partner, naughtyscience.com. And there is a discount code in the description. So if you guys want to go get something and save some money, you'll thank me later. So now, something that I wanted to talk about is boundaries, right? Boundaries are kind of like seatbelts, uncomfortable at first, but then they'll save your life when everything crashes, right? So today I really wanted to break down like the boundaries and why they're so hard, the messy combos that it can create, and some wild toxic stories that I have as well on these boundaries. So let's get started into the whole boundaries. I have my boundaries. People have their boundaries. Everybody has like their different, like what they believe in, right? So the first reason that I have here that why boundaries are so difficult is because fear of rejection. You guys know what I'm talking about. People think if you say no, they'll leave. That fear keeps the others over giving in relationships. You know, I get those questions all the time. It's like, I don't want to say this because I'm afraid, to run them off or to scare them off. No, I say it all the time. We want to run people off. We want to scare people off because we don't want people who are not about us, or not respect our boundaries, our red flags. We don't want those people. And if you bringing up a conversation like this is going to make them run away, they were eventually going to leave. Remember that. They were eventually going to leave. We just expedited that process for you. So don't be afraid to bring something up. If there's something that doesn't bug you, bring it up. Tell them. And if it makes them reject you, makes them leave you, okay, perfect. Because think about it. You can't bring up something that bugs you because you're afraid that they're going to leave you. No. If you bringing this up makes them leave. You want them to leave because clearly they're not going to respect your boundaries. And like if you bringing it up makes them leave, like I said before, it was only a matter of time before they were going to leave. So don't be afraid to let people know what your boundaries are. And because a lot of people do fear that they might get rejected, they might get told something. So don't be afraid. Okay. Another reason why people don't like to have these is because of guilt. Raised to believe saying no, being mean means being selfish, especially in a strong family or cultural settings. And I always say too, as well, at the end of the day, do what's best for you because nobody else is going to want the best for you more than you. Nobody's going to want the best. Like, of course, there's people who are going to be like, oh, I wish you the best, hopefully, but they're not going to go out of their way. They're not going to make things happen for you more than yourself. Okay. So make sure you, first of all, respect your own boundaries and make other people respect your boundaries. Don't just be like, oh, well, I want them to like me. Oh, I want this guy to like me. I want this girl to like me. So I'm going to let them completely disrespect me. Absolutely the fuck not. Okay. We're not doing that. Especially going into 2026. We're a little bit past halfway, 2025. And if you're letting this shit slide, absolutely not. Okay. And another reason is people are people pleasers. You want to be liked more than respected, so you sacrifice your peace. Okay. And we all know those people that they just let people run over them, whether it be partners, friends, family, you name it. Like there's some people that will get away with as much as you let them get away with. So definitely, again, it's cool to be like, do things for people, not be so selfish. But at the end of the day, you have to worry about you because nobody is going to care more about you more than you. So stop trying to please everybody because trust me, I was there too as well, trying to please everybody, and you end up pleasing everybody, right? Like you try to make everybody happy, but the only person that's not happy is yourself. The one that should be the most important to be the happiest. If you can't, like, you need to make yourself happy first and then make others, okay? You need to focus with you. Conflict avoidance. We all know The people don't like to have those conversations. They don't want to argue. They don't want to fight. Oh, I'm not going to bring it up because it's just going to bring an argument. Oh, I'm not going to do this. No. Yes, you do want to bring up. Yes, you do want to have an argument. Yes, you do want to find out if this person is actually for you, or if like you want to build something with this person. They need to respect your boundaries and what you will and will not accept. It's easier to let it slide than to risk a fight, but every time you let it slide, resentment grows. It always lives in the back of your head, like, oh, like, let this slide, let that slide. Boundaries get really, really blurry. And now that whoever is not respecting your boundaries, they know they can get away with a lot because there's really no boundaries there for you. Like if you say, hey, you can't do this, or I'm going to leave or something like that, right? And they do it and you don't leave, then you don't have any boundaries there. Like your boundaries hold no weight. Your threat holds no weight. And so they're going to continue to disrespect you. So that's what I'm saying. Like, don't avoid those conflicts. Those are good conflicts to have. And if that conflict leads to a breakup, a separation, or them getting angry and leaving you, we want that, because if you can't talk about these and conflict, there's no conflict resolution. It's going to be a very rough and difficult relationship. Okay, because if you can't have that healthy communication of course you're not going to agree on everything. You're going to have arguments. That's how relationships are, right? It's never going to be all up. There's ups and downs, but hopefully there's more ups than there is down. And in order to have more ups, you need to talk about those down parts, right? And some of those down parts are respecting your boundaries. So, and then another reason is fantasy thinking, hoping if I love them enough, they'll change. So you let it go. And we all have that fantasy thinking that, hoping that things change, hoping that they change their ways, hoping that things go perfectly. It's not going to come. Like, how much time are you going to waste realizing that that's not going to come? If you let them disrespect your boundaries, or not even respect your boundaries, just don't even care about your boundaries in the very beginning, they're going to continue to do it. That's why that's the most crucial time to be talking about these things, to bringing these things up, because in the beginning, when they're trying to court you, like say you're a girl and the guy's trying to court you, they're willing to do a lot for you. And, and I'm sure it's the vice versa. Like if the girl's really into the guy, they're willing to do a lot of things for you. But if you don't bring up your boundaries, like what you will and will not accept, they're just going to run all over you. And do you really want that? Okay. So stop assuming, stop fantasizing that things are going to change, because guess what? They're not going to change. Like a funny example that I have is, it's like agreeing to babysit your friend's dog when you hate dogs. You're smiling saying, sure. Meanwhile, the Chihuahua is chewing on your sneakers and your soul. And you guys can get the example there, because you're doing something just because like you're trying to satisfy the other person. In reality, you really didn't want to do it, but I'll take care of you, dog. So the next section that I have is the boundaries we avoid most. Okay. And especially in relationships, because I know the majority of the people that follow me here are because of relationship issues, not so much like family issues. So one of the biggest things, the boundaries that people disrespect in relationships, is social media. And what I mean by that, your partner is liking other people's pictures. Maybe they're posting thirst traps that you don't like, or liking thirst traps that you don't like. Going and friending a lot of people of the other sex, meaning like if they're male, friending a lot of females. If they're female, friending a lot of males. Okay. And this should be talked about from the get-go. The moment you realize it, the moment you see it, if you don't bring it up, trust me, if you try to bring it up later on down the road, thinking that he's going to change, it's going to be a bigger issue later on, because they're going to tell you, I've been doing it this whole time, and why is it a problem now? That's why you got to bring it up in the beginning, when you guys are like in that puppy love stage, honeymoon. The first time it happens that you see it and you don't like it, bring it up and be like, I'm not doing this. This right here is not going to happen. So if you're going to continue this behavior, you're going to lose me. So you choose, like those photos, follow these girls, or me. That's it. And especially if you're in the beginning, they're going to be like, fuck, I ain't trying to lose this girl. So they're going to not do it. Another uh, boundary that people don't that fulfill or like respect is intimacy needs, which is a huge one. Okay. You need to let them know like what you require from them and not get comfortable. There's so many people that get comfortable with their partner. They go from being intimate several times a week, once every other week, once a month, once every other month, and and so on and so forth until it gets to the point where you're doing it like not very often. They're more like roommates. Okay. And this is something that you need to tell them right. Hey, like this is what I need. If you can't fulfill that, hey, just let me know. I'll go find somebody who can. And also comfort zones while being intimate. And what I mean by that is like, of course, we love freaky people. I love me a freaky girl, but there's also, I think it's mainly guys making their partner uncomfortable. And what I mean by that is they want to invite another girl. They want to have threesomes. They want to have their girl do another guy in front of them and doing those type of stuff. And you need to set your boundaries like, nope, I'm not comfortable with that. If that's what you really need and fantasize, I'm not the one for you. Because they're going to continue to fantasize that. They're going to continue to ask you for that, and they're going to, some people because they don't want to cheat or want to do something behind your back, they're going to be like, oh, let's do a threesome. Let's do that. It'd be so much fun. They're going to make it seem like it's a fucking great idea. It should be a mutual decision to do something like that. So intimacy is a huge one. And that's definitely something that you guys need to talk about. Like if that's not something that you guys are not talking about, it's only going to get worse down the road. And you guys know there's a lot of people who are struggling in the intimacy, section. And it leads to a lot of cheating situations, heartbreak situations, breaking up situations, all sorts of stuff, stepping out of the relationship situations, you name it, just because the intimacy needs are not being fulfilled. Or you get with somebody who doesn't even satisfy you the way you need to be satisfied. Do you really want to be with somebody who's giving it to you like once a year? There's some people on the TikTok live that when I went live, they hadn't been intimate with their partner in 20, 25 years. The highest was 32 years. You really want to be that person? And it happens. It's more common than you think. Not being intimate with your partner and you just letting it slide. It's super common. I'll tell you that right now. Because you don't want to lose your person. You're like, oh, well, maybe it'll eventually change. No, stop fucking assuming. Like, I don't understand why, especially girls. I'm not saying that it's bad. A lot of you ladies assume a lot. Assume the guy's going to change. Assume it's going to be happily ever after. Assume all this stuff. Stop assuming. Okay? If they don't change in the first few weeks, months, what makes you think years down the road they're going to fucking change? Okay. And another one that they don't respect is time together and time apart. Now, let's be honest. I'm a type of person, like, of course, I like to hang out with my partner. I like to go and do stuff with my partner. But I also love my alone time. Like, just let me do my thing. Like, let me just chill by myself. There's something about just chilling by yourself that's fulfilling, right? And there's some people who don't match that energy and they need to see you at all times. We all know those like huge, they require a lot of attention, they become very clingy, they become very suffocating, right? They always want to be with you, so you need to find that out in the beginning. If they're like that, maybe that's not that type of person because, like I said, I love to spend time with my partner. Absolutely. But I also love my time by myself. And it's not like by myself, not like, maybe watching a show or something by yourself, maybe doom scrolling, maybe going to do something that you like to do. Trust me, there's a lot of people like that. It's not everybody, but I'm one of those people that like just some time on my own. Like, let me have that time as well. Right. So, but then there's also people who want a little bit. This is why figuring out the person that you're with. Like, if you require a little bit more time from your person, you need to tell them that. Be like, hey, like, I don't like that we only see each other once every other week, or we've only seen each other once a month. Like, what this needs to change, right? Or why is it that you only want to see me at night, never during the day? Sneaky link, or they just want a booty call. Like, you need to bring these things up. So the example that I have, because I love giving you guys examples, is you don't want to say stop liking her bikini pics because it sounds so petty. So instead, you just simmer inside while he's double tapping like it's cardio. And you just let people, this is what I'm saying, you let them get away with it because you don't want to bring up that conversation that is more than likely going to lead to an argument. Let's be honest. But that argument is something that you need that's either going to benefit you. Well, it's going to benefit you in a good way. Even though the end result may not be the best or ideal, what if you bringing it up separates you guys? And that's what I mean. Like, it's going to be a good ending and it's good for you, but it may not be the way you see it, because it might end the relationship, but you want that. Like, if you bringing this up is going to end a relationship, you want to. Because later on down the road, something smaller, something more petty is going to end the relationship, and this behavior is just going to continue. It's kind of like kids, dogs. The more you let them get away with shit, the more they're going to do it, and not going to respect what you say or, respect you for it. So that's why you need to bring it up. And this goes the same way with family. I got some family, work, and with friends boundaries. Like with family, my parents don't do this, but I've seen other parents do it. And especially when they try to be in people's in their kids' relationships, try to control everything. The parents treating you like a kid, meaning, yes, you're always going to be their kid, their son, their daughter. I get it. They'll treat you a certain way because you're always going to be their kid. It don't matter if I know every time I go visit my mom and my parents, my mom and dad, every time I'm going to leave, I usually stay with them because my mom wants me to stay with them. And she'd probably whip my ass if I didn't stay. If I got a hotel, she'd be like, why didn't you just stay here? She'll still be like, hey, I'm going to be back later. She's like, well, where are you going? You know what I mean? In my head, I'm like, I don't think I need to tell you that, but I'll be back later, But they don't treat me like a kid, like, oh, you're grounded. Imagine 37 years old and fucking say I'm grounded. No, absolutely not. But there are some people who their parents treat them like that, and you continue to let them treat you like that. Get involved in all your relationships, everything you do. Let you control it. Like, I get it, giving you advice, and if you don't follow it, you learn on your own. So, and you also got to put your parents in check. Like, put them in check. If they start disrespecting you, your partner, or things that you need them to respect, you need to tell them it's okay. They need to learn. They're still learning how to parent. There's no right or wrong way to parent, right? They're still learning. Even if you're older, they're still learning. It's not like they came out being parents. They're still learning. So you need to put them in check if that's the case. And then another one with families that you need to set boundaries is money loans. Don't become a family bank. There's some people in the family that end up doing better than other people, right? If you get put in a tough situation, there's nothing wrong to reach out and be like, hey, can you help me? But if it's like a continuous thing, boom, 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 boom. You need to let them know. I know it's hard to be like, no, but how else are they going to learn? If you're just like, well, if I wouldn't give it to you, how else would you, what would you do then? Maybe try that first or something like that. So this isn't necessary because you need to practice it in your relationships with your partner, your family, your friends, your coworkers. Because the next ones that I have is cowork or at work. For example, bosses texting you after hours. And what I mean by that, work-related issues. Okay. Or even work-related issues. If you're off, if they're sitting here messaging you like crazy, like, hey, can you do this? Hey, I want you to do this. You need to tell them, be like, hey, yo, I want to chill too. I want to relax too. I was there all day. Could have done it. I'll do it tomorrow. Let me chill too. Let me chill with my family. Let me do this. I'm out here. I'm doing this. You need to set those boundaries. And also, if they're messaging you about some other shit, like trying to hang out with you, okay, that's another problem. uh, and also, another way this can relate, so you can see, so you can see like where you can start practicing this respecting boundaries, is also unpaid overtime. Like for example, if you're on salary, uh, and they continue wanting you to work after hours and nothing, like just like basically for free, and you team player type of mentality, right? You need to tell them, be like, yo, like I'm down to do this every now and then, but you require me to do it all the fucking time, like, and I get no gain out of it. Only you get gain out of this. Like, there's only so much you're gonna do, and there's so many people who actually get taken advantage that way because they don't say anything. They don't want to say anything to the boss. They don't want to get fired. They don't want to get. They think they're gonna get fired. No, they got to respect your time too. Okay, so that's where you can relate it with work. There's obviously a bunch of different ways too, but also with friends. Like say your friends are the one, especially your real ones. If you can call a friend and just vent to them, that's a real one. And they'll sit there and listen. They may not give you the best advice, but if they just sit there and let you vent, that's a real one. But here's the thing, like if they're calling you and you listen, but then you give them the right, like some solid advice and they don't listen, now they're just taking advantage of you and your time. Now you feel like your time is being wasted because they just call you and vent about the same shit. Oh my God, he cheated on me again. Girl, I told you to leave after the 5th time and you stayed. Stop fucking complaining to me. That's why, for example, on these TikToks, people are like, oh, if he cheated once, should I go back? Would I do it? No. And if you do it, you're taking the risk to see if he cheated on you again. And if he does it again, don't come complaining to me because you're the one that took that risk knowing that he might do it again. Because once they cheat, they might cheat again. So, and then another way you can relate and start practicing these things is the friends that take advantage of you expecting free rides all the time, free hookups, like wherever you work at, favors all the time, but they can never do anything for you. You're like, hey, can you do it? Oh, no, I can't. I'm doing no. You need to pay attention to how they're treating you too, because if my buddy, like say somebody's out here and like, hey, can I, like my car broke down, can you give me a ride? Bet. There, I got you. But if they're like, hey, can you give me a ride Monday through Friday, like right before you go to work or something? I'd be like, dude, like what the fuck? Like I got shit to do too. So it's just things like that. And then always expecting, like say, I remember back in the day, like I used to work at it wasn't fast food, it was a restaurant. And I would have friends that always like, they would always be like, hey man, hook it up. Hey, hook it up. And then when you ask them for something, they're just like, I can't, and I'm over here risking my fucking job, getting them a bunch of shit. And then they can't even do nothing for your boy. So that's why I'm saying, like, pay attention to people respecting your boundaries. And also like, if I didn't want to do it, they would always like pressure me to do it. Now that I think about it, holy shit. They would always, hey, just hook it up, man. Hook it up. I'd be like, nah, man. Cause I'm over here. I'm like, I don't want to get caught and get fired. I'm over here trying to make some money. But then they would pressure me. So I would risk my job for them. And they shouldn't be doing that for you. Like risking your job for that. So now, the uncomfortable conversations of boundaries, right? Some of the examples of some really hard conversations we're going to go over right now because they might sound familiar, okay? And you're probably going to be like, holy shit, that's an issue I run into, right? I don't want to move that fast. When some people are love bombing you right away and they're like, oh, let's do this. 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, they're like, let's move in together. You need to learn, and you'll do it just because you're like, oh, well, yeah, this is going great. I don't want to say no and then get them upset. No, you need to learn this person. Like, do you really think you know somebody in like 3-4 weeks in a month? That's why I'm saying, like, you have to give it some time because people switch up. So I know somebody that they thought they were head over heels, moved in together and everything. Now they're separated and looking to move out. All under a year. So definitely pay attention to that because you need to learn how to say that to a person. Or if they're super suffocating, clingy. Sometimes I remember there was this one chick back in the day, like she would always like swing by like my office and then like always want to see me. I'm like, I mean, just chill. uh, One thing that I needed to learn to say at the time was like, I need a night alone. Like, I'm just trying to chill. Me, not with you, me. Just chill and hang out because like, there's something about being by yourself that's also cool, right? Of course, like I said, I love spending time with my person too, but there has to be a healthy balance for myself. Or this has actually been guys are getting a lot more comfortable and just bringing it up, acting like they're fucking perfect. You need to tell them stop commenting on your body. Because maybe you have this one person that he comments on your weight. Maybe he commented on your stretch marks or so on and so forth. That they should respect those boundaries because trust me, we're all insecure. We are all insecure about something. You know, something about our body. Somebody's insecure about something, right? And so constantly talking about it or like putting it on blast for you, and especially those people who like put it on blast in front of other people. No. Okay. And ladies, this one's mainly for you guys. I mean, it happens to guys too, but it should both sides here. I can't keep giving you money. Okay. Oh yeah, that one rang a bell, right? There's so many girls out here who continue to support the guy, acting like you need to pay like their bills or something like that. They're always using you for money, getting money from you, like, and so on and so forth. Okay. Or even family or friends, whatever. It can be with anybody. And like, for example, last night, right before I went to the Ice Cube concert, I saw this couple. Waitress brings the bill. The guy didn't even move to get the waitress was kind of holding it towards the guy because she probably thought guy's going to pay for it. That's what guys do, right? And so he's like, or she was holding it and he was just like sitting there looking at her, looking at him, and then or looking at her and looking at her, right? And then the girl reaches over, grabs the thing, and then pays it. And he's just like sitting there, kind of like, and I'm just baffled. I still, even though if I get invited somewhere, I still try to pay, because that's just me, and who knows? Like, I don't know their whole relationship situation. Maybe that happens a lot. And they're just like, oh, well, he's struggling right now, so I'll take care of everything. Some people try to make excuses for every little thing. So, another one is I'm not okay with you texting your ex or talking to your ex. And we all know those people who that run into those issues. Like they have their man talking to their ex or their girl talking to their ex. No, that's a hell no for me. If I find out that you're talking to your ex, we're done. If you're co-parenting with your baby daddy, cool. But if I find out it's more than just a co-parenting type of situation, I'm out still. Because no, we ain't doing that over here. And you need to tell them that. But also not in a yelling way. So that's why I have this. Here are some wrong ways of bringing things up. Yelling at them, not going to do anything. Sarcasm, not going to do anything. Passive aggressive, not going to do anything. But make the other person upset. And vice versa. Like, it doesn't matter if you're male or female. If you yell at me, not going to sit well with me. If you're being sarcastic, not going to sit well with me either. Or passive aggressive, and trust me, you wouldn't want to feel like that either. But a better way to bring it up is you never listen to me, but obviously upset, right? No, actually, I have it wrong here. One way that you shouldn't bring it up is you never listen to me. You're insane. I'm done. Okay, that sounds better. There's some people who talk like that or use a petty jab or say something disrespectful, to get something across. That's not. And if you're super upset at the moment, wait a second. Take 5 minutes. Go through it in your head how you're going to talk about it, so you're not going crazy or saying something disrespectful. Because if you say something disrespectful, they're probably going to hit you with something disrespectful, and it's just going to be a back and forth thing. And you're going to say something, or they're going to say something that you cannot take back. And it's just going to live with you guys if you guys continue. But the right way, again, everybody's right way is different. Calm, direct, and clear. For example, okay, the bad way was, you never listen to me, you're insane, I'm done. A solid way is, I feel disrespected when you text your ex. I need that to stop if we're going to continue building this. And see, like, you're stern to the point, and you let them know, hey, like, I ain't going to tolerate this shit no more. You're not being disrespectful. You're letting them know that you're feeling disrespected by them doing that. So that's why, like, there's right and wrong ways to bring these things up. You don't be yelling. Like, again, if you find something out and you're going to confront them about something, take a few seconds, maybe like a few minutes. Think about what you're going to say. What's the best way to say it where you're not going to get upset? Because again, you go in disrespectful, it's going to be disrespectful. You go in sarcastic, it's going to be sarcastic. It's going to lead to something that it didn't need to lead to. But instead, if you take a little bit and you be like, all right, this is the way I'm going to say it. This is the way I'm going to talk about this. This is the way I'm going to bring this up. And I'm going to let him know I'm not going to do this anymore. So, it's going to be awkward at first too. Like, if you haven't had these conversations, it's going to be awkward. But once you have these conversations, it's going to be easier to have these conversations, and you're going to feel better that you brought it up. Okay. Trust me, whenever you have that first argument with your person, when you want to bring something up and you talk about it, it's awkward at first. Like, you don't know what to do, what not to do, like, it's awkward. But once you start having those conversations, they get easier and they get better. And then you guys can find, like, how to talk about these things, especially if, like, if you set that boundary, that standard, be like, when we argue, this is the way we're going to do it. We're not going to be disrespectful. I'm not going to come in disrespectful. And that way they don't come at me disrespectful. And if I come in respectful and you come at me disrespectful, conversation's done. That's how I am. If I'm talking to you respectfully, of course, sometimes you get mad, but I'll still be respectful. And you start saying some disrespectful things, I'm like, all right, I'm done. Because it's just going to lead to something worse and worse. And then you're just going to get to the point where it's going to piss me off and I'm going to say something stupid. Right? So you need to be able to have these conversations. Once you have these conversations, it gets easier. And again, don't be afraid to lose the person. That's the biggest thing that you need to stop, because you're going to be one of these. I had people submit some stories. Okay. If you haven't followed me on IG, go follow me over there. That way, if I'm talking about a certain subject, you'll be able to participate. So I got some stories. You don't want to be these, so have the conversation with your person. So the first one that I have is, my ex used to wait until I fell asleep and literally grab my hand to unlock my phone with my thumb. One night I woke up and he was scrolling my old DMs from years ago, asking me about people I didn't even talk to anymore. So he clearly probably projecting on you, because if he has to go through your phone, it could also be that could be some shady shit in his phone. So he thinks that you're doing the same thing. And just not having that respect and sneaking around. If you're giving him a reason to feel like that, I get it. Meaning, like, late nights, stories are inconsistent, and that feeling that you actually are cheating and he wants to go through your phone. I get that. And I totally understand if I make somebody feel like that and they want to go through my phone because of that. Okay, I get that. But just because you feel like insecure, I'm going to feel a type of way about that, right? So clearly did not care about or respect your boundaries. And, hey, don't be touching my phone. I'm not doing anything bad. So next story that I have is, after we broke up, my ex would still come to my apartment like nothing happened. One time she showed up at 11 p.m. with Taco Bell and acted like we were having a date night. I was like, you do know we're broken up, right? And this is on both sides. You break up with them and they feel like they still have contact with you. They can still just show up unannounced. They can still come in unannounced, and so on and so forth. That's why I always say when I'm done with an ex, block them. That's it. We don't need to be in communication. We don't need to see each other. We don't need it. None of that. And I require the same thing from whoever I'm with. But because you need if I were to break up with somebody and this were to happen, I'd be like, yo, fuck that. You ain't going to be doing this shit. Okay. Like, you're not going to be doing this at all. And if you come over here again unannounced, 911, hello. So next one that I have is my BF used to flirt with the waitress right in front of me. I'd call him out and he'd flip it back on me like I was the insecure one. One time he literally asked the waitress for the snap while I was sitting there. Now and this is you just not bringing it up, not saying anything. I mean, you did say something, but you let it slide because clearly you're still with him. So if that were to happen in front of me, I'd be like, all right, cool. Make sure he can give you a ride home too. I'm out. Like, fuck no. Doing that shit in front of you, even way more disrespectful. It clearly shows that they had no respect for you. And I hope the waitress didn't give your ex, her snap, because that, even if you let yourself get disrespected by your person, like, other people are going to start disrespecting you too. Be like, well, she don't care. He's clearly asking me in front of her. So, hey, here you go. No, shame on her too. So, especially in front of you, come on. Whenever my girl got mad at me she wouldn't talk to me for days, like full ghosting me, not answering calls, nothing, but she would still be posting cute selfies, memes on IG, like everything was fine. And see, arguments should not, like, if you want to take some time, meaning like you guys have an argument and you guys want to be separated for a little bit, cool down, cool off, few hours, I get it. But ghosting you full on days, no, that's not healthy conversation, that communication. That's not going to lead to anything good, because you get mad and all of a sudden go, bye. And she could be doing it on purpose too, or he could be doing it on purpose, knowing that you get in an argument, because I know somebody who would do this. They would start an argument. He wouldn't talk to his girl. He would go and talk to other girls, do other stuff. And then once he was done doing that, go right back. So it was like an excuse for him to go and like talk to other people and, do his other shit with other people. So that's why you got to be careful. That whole ghosting and then coming back like nothing ever happened. No, you guys didn't even get a chance to talk about it. And there's people who just let it slide. Hey, that's also your fault for letting it slide. Okay. My ex knew my IG password and used it to log on and to reply to my DMs pretending to be me. I didn't find out until my boy sent me a screenshot like, bro, why are you messaging me like this? Like, this is why they shouldn't have your passwords to begin with, because you never know what shady stuff they might be doing, because they could purposely be trying to like get yourself into shitty situations. They could send somebody something disrespectful. Absolutely not. I would never give access like that to anybody. Like, no. And if that's a problem, then that's a problem. The next one that I have is my ex always forgot his wallet when we went out to eat. After that, I thought it was just bad luck. But after the sixth time, I realized he never even brought it on purpose. I was basically a free meal for him. Okay. And like I said before, I get it if maybe one time they did forget their wallet. But you have to realize a lot of these places you can be like, hey, can I just Apple Pay? Okay. One time, let it slide. But girl, 6 times? 6 times. When did you think that was not a pattern? Now he just got like 6 free meals because you would just pay. Always forgetting his wallet. Is he really that fucking dumb? Let's be honest. So what you're telling me is that you found this guy who forgets his wallet all the time. Like, that's the type of person you want to be with? Again, if it happens one time, I get it, understand it could happen. Uh, you know, I get that. But 6 times, girl, 6 times. My BF had a habit of picking fights in public. One time in Target, I grabbed the wrong cereal and he legit started yelling at me in the aisle. People were staring and it kept going like it was normal. And see, I would not, if you want to, if I did something and you want to argue about it, let's talk about it when there's not people around. Right. Because first of all, don't put, for example, if I see a couple arguing, don't put me in an awkward situation. Because now I'm just here shopping and you put me in a real fucking awkward situation. You're yelling at your girl, the girl's yelling at her man. And I'm just like, do I do something? Like maybe I just leave. Right. And there's also people who don't care and don't have that respect for you. They'll clearly disrespect you in front of everybody. You don't want to be with, if somebody were to disrespect me like that in front of other people, I get it. If I did something wrong and you want to talk to me about it, let's go talk about it. Wait until it'd be like, all right, hey, I'll meet you in the car. Like, I'm really upset about this. I'm just going to wait for you in the car. That would have been better than, but over the wrong fucking cereal? That's another red flag right there, is over a damn cereal. Imagine if you bought the wrong fucking milk. Every time we went out, my girl would disappear. I'd find her on the dance floor with some random dudes grinding on her. When I said something, she'd just say, it's just dancing. Relax. Absolutely not. Like, if that is your girl, ladies, that is very, very disrespectful to your person, to your man. No, it's not just dancing, because I guarantee you, if it was flipped and there was a girl grinding up on him, oh, it would be a problem. You'd probably even try to fight the girl. But you would just want to say, it's not just dancing. Because if we're going to go with the it's just dancing, if you're going to use that excuse, it's just dancing, she was just sucking on it. That's all she was doing. Like, you act like it was something bad, like we were actually fucking. She was just sucking on it. You know, you see how dumb that sounds? So absolutely not. Or like, we were just making out. Like, you act like we had sex or something. We were just making it. No, it's not just dancing. I wish. And I wouldn't need an explanation after that. If I saw that with my own 2 eyes, if I saw that, that's it. I'm done. You already let me know exactly how you're going to be. Cool. I don't need this. My ex made me share my location with her 24/7. If my phone died or the location glitched, she would blow up my phone with 20 calls. One time I turned it off by accident and she showed up at my job demanding answers. And this is why sharing locations, you don't need to do that. Like, let's go back to the day that there was no sharing locations. Because why? Like, I get it if you guys share it. If you guys share it and you guys are like both in agreement just because you want to make sure that this person is safe, know where they're at, you know, like controlling behavior type of stuff. Okay, I get it. Non-jealousy. Hey, turn it on. I need to see where you're at all times. And if he cheated on you and that's why you want his location, girl, see what cheating made you do? Be super controlling like that. I wouldn't want to be like that. That's not you. That's not how a relationship should be. And I would not want to be with a girl who's super insecure. Is like, I need your location 24/7. Like, I need to know where you're at. No, you don't need to know where I'm at. I'll tell you where I'm at. Like, I don't care. But I'm not going to have you looking at your phone and be like, all right, he's right here. Okay. Whoa. Where's he going? Me going to go get my fucking mail. So, yeah, don't want that. He'd ghost me for weeks. Like he didn't exist, then pop up like 2 a.m. with a simple, what are you doing? Like nothing happened. The worst part is I'd actually respond half the time. And that was 100% the reason why he kept doing it. You kept letting him get away with this shitty behavior. He would ghost you, maybe go talk to other girls, maybe go be with other girls, and then come back like nothing happened. And you would start talking to him. You're just letting him get away with that type of behavior. You're just saying like, oh, okay, it's fine. Sure. And then he's going to continue to do it because he knows you're not going anywhere and he knows you're going to answer. So of course he's going to keep doing it. Maybe he doesn't want to hang out with you one day because him and the boys are going to go out. Some girls are going to be there and he doesn't want to take you, or he doesn't want to ask you for permission to go. So he's going to start an argument and then he's going to go and then he's going to come back like nothing ever happened. Hell no. I would not be with somebody like that. My ex would literally start arguments just so she could analyze me. She'd tell me the reason I didn't like doing the dishes was because of my childhood trauma. Like, girl, maybe I just hate see, I actually saw some people who actually got in a huge argument because of washing dishes. Like, it was hard labor or something. Like, they're just fucking dishes. You being in a relationship should be a team. Be like, all right, cool. You cook dinner. I'll do the dishes. Oh, I'll do this. Oh, you did them yesterday. I got them. You know, oh shit. Yeah, she's doing this. Okay. I'll do it. No worries. It's going to take you like 15, 20 minutes. If that. Okay. So let's not be doing that. And starting arguments over little things. Like, I would not want to be with somebody who starts the story earlier over cereal. Okay. Now over not doing dishes. Instead of just being like, if they told you constantly, hey, can you do the dishes? And you would just never do them. I get that. Then it becomes a problem because now you feel like you're doing everything and they don't even contribute on their end. I get it. Totally makes sense. But if it was just because they're just like, oh, no, I can't right now. And then you just flip out, because there's some people who flip out for the littlest things. So, my BF liked every single bikini pic his ex posted. When I asked about it, he said I was overthinking it. He never liked my pics that consistently though. He couldn't even like your photos, but his ex photos, he was double tapping them bitches, which is a huge red flag. And to me, lets me know that they might not be over their ex. Again, why do you think I block my exes? Because I don't want to deal with none of that shit. I don't want to imagine if it's the other way. Like, say I post something and then an ex likes it, and then I'm talking to somebody else and be like, why did your ex like all your shit? And then I'm like, well, it's not even that. Or, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to do none of that. Okay. We end on good terms, bad terms, whatever the case, still blocking your ass. We don't need to be friends. We don't need to we don't need to be liking each other's stuff on social media. We don't need to be doing all that. Okay. My girl told me she was staying at her bestie's place for the night. Later, I saw her tagged on someone's story at a house party 10 minutes from my house. She still swears it was just a girl's night. And if you're with somebody and they got to lie about going out, red flag. Because they're going to lie. Like, there is a reason why they lied to you that they were going over there. There's a reason, right? Maybe it was another guy that was there. Maybe they were doing something shady. I could see that maybe you get upset or never want to let her do anything. You become too controlling. So anytime she wants to hang out with her friends, you never let her go, right? I could see that. Again, more context to these things. But if it's the same with the guys. If they told you they were going to go somewhere and do something and they ended up doing something different, their intentions were something. Because I remember, like, I got in trouble one time for this too. This was like with my ex of 7.5 years before we actually were boyfriend and girlfriend. I had just gone to see her. We went on a date, and then I had to end the night early because I wanted to go get some sleep because I had something to do in the morning, right? Not really. I wanted to end the night early because I wanted to go, some friends of mine were having a party, and there was going to be these other girls that were going to go. So I was like, let me end this and go over here, see what's up with them, see what's Gucci with them. And I got caught in some of the pictures. And then she saw, and ooh, she went off on me. But that intention to talk to other girls was there. Now, again, this was like 18-year-old fucking Edgar, okay? So, let's see, where was I at? My ex forgot my birthday completely. Didn't get me anything. Didn't even say happy birthday until midnight. But then I saw him post a whole birthday shout out for his ex on IG. Yeah, I'm not saying go all out on me. A simple happy birthday suffice for me. I'm good with that. I don't even like celebrating my birthday that much. So a simple, hey, happy birthday. Cool. But this is actually common. I did a poll a while back ago where I asked, it was during Valentine's Day. There's some girls, ladies, who never get flowers or anything for Valentine's Day, for their birthday, for Christmas, for anything. They never get anything because they're like, oh, they don't need it. No. You shouldn't only get things like flowers on your birthday, on days like that. It should just be randomly. It shouldn't just be like, oh, like it's this day, let me get you this, right? But it's a nice reminder. That's why I like Mother's Day, like Valentine's Day, because some people are like, I don't need to show up. Yeah, I know, I get that, 100%. You don't need one day to show up, but it's also nice to have a specific day where you're just like, hey, this day we celebrate all partners, right? So you do something nice that day too. But hopefully you're doing nice shit other days as well. But if your person is not even saying happy birthday or doing something small for you on your birthday, holidays, when I did that, there were some girls who don't even get nothing for Christmas. They get their man all sorts of shit, but then the man doesn't get them shit no. Stop doing that shit. Stop approving that type of behavior. Like, what the fuck? All right, the last one that I have is I drove my boyfriend everywhere for months, to work, to parties, to see his family. When I asked him to put in for gas, he said that he would eventually. Like, he would Venmo her later. Never got the Venmo. See, and you continuing to do it because, again, so on and so, like, you love the person or you really enjoy this person, they're going to continue to get away with these things, okay? And some of the things why you need to stop letting people cross these boundaries is, the first one is a burnout. Always saying yes drains your energy. You're not even living your own life anymore. You're living everybody else's schedule. And we've all been there trying to please everybody, people disrespecting you, your time, your boundaries, everything. And you let them get away with everything until you don't. And then you become the bad person. Another reason is resentment. Small things build up until you explode. That's why people break up over dishes in the sink. It's never about the dishes. It's about the 100 times they had to swallow their anger before that. And yes, that is so true, because I was guilty of that too as well. Meaning, like, I wouldn't say things. I would just keep it bottled in until just one day I would just explode over something small. And then it just became something bigger that it didn't need to become, just because I wouldn't have those conversations. Now, if something bugs me, I'll bring it up right away. I'm not letting little shit build up anymore. Okay. Another reason is loss of respect. People push you as far as you allow. And that is so true. If you never push back, don't be surprised when they stop taking you seriously or they get upset that you actually stood up for yourself. You know, this happened to me, family member. I would always let them get away with shit. Always let them get away with shit. And then the moment I stood up for myself and said, no, we ain't doing this shit no more. We ain't doing this shit. I'm not doing that no more. No, I became the bad person. You know what I mean? I became the bad person. So that's what I'm saying. Like, they didn't like that. They didn't like that. Now I became a bad person because I said, no, not doing that shit anymore. I'm not going to let you take advantage of me anymore. Now I got saw like, this person stopped talking to me. A lot of people are going to think it's my little brother. No, that's a whole different issue. Different family member. And it became a problem that I said, no, you're not going to be like, I would always like give them money, like do this, do that, do this, like go out of my way, bend my back backwards for them. That's a freaking riddle. And then when I remember one time I got super upset about something and I needed somebody to vent to, and I went over there and he didn't even want to listen to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like, all right, cool. Like, hey, yeah, like you'll be fine. You know what I mean? So now looking back, and And then the last one is losing yourself. Without boundaries, you forget who you are. You're not a partner anymore. You're just their emotional customer service line. Okay. And this is so true. You let people get away with so much shit that you really lose who you actually are. Have you ever maybe after you left that relationship, you started hanging out with the people you used to hang out with again? They're like, damn, I miss this old person. Like, what happened here? It's because this other person tried to, disrespected you and you were doing everything for them. Like, not even, you don't want to live as a shell of yourself. I would never do that again. I did that before. Hell no, never again. So, and then we're going to talk about how to set boundaries without sounding like an asshole or without feeling like one, right? So that's why I brought up the other examples like work, friends, family, because you can practice, start small, okay? Practice saying like, no, I don't want things like dessert, things like little things. No, I'm good. Like, I don't want to do that. Like, start with smaller things. And then eventually it's going to get to like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. Because once you start building that habit of like, hey, no, I didn't want this type of, we always get the dessert you want, right? Be like, no, I don't want any. Before you would just eat it because whatever, right? So something small like that, right? So start small. And then you need to also use I statements. For example, don't use, you always disrespect me. So now it feels like you're attacking them. Instead, say, I feel disrespected when this happens, when that happens. You know what I mean? Like, let them know how it's making you feel. Don't be like, you always disrespect me when you do this. You always do this. You always do that. You're like sitting there pointing a finger. Like, that's what it feels like. And you're making them feel like, it feels like they're getting attacked. You don't want to do that. You need to let them know, hey, I feel disrespected when you do this. So, and in a calm manner too. So, and also don't set the rules, don't set the boundaries, and let people get away with them, because the moment you like, I'm not going to let this happen, or if you give them an ultimatum or tell them, hey, this is not going to happen anymore, and you let them get away with it, then guess what? They're just like, well, their threat doesn't matter. Their ultimatum has no weight behind it because they're not leaving. They're going to stay there, right? So that's why you need to be consistent with what you say. Hey, if you continue this, I'm going to leave. And if they continue doing, like, say they were messaging other girls, you're like, all right, cool, I'm out. Like, actually fucking end it, So, and then also something that you don't need to over explain your boundary. Plain and simple. I don't like this and this. You do that again, that's it. Not be like going to something deep back when I was young. No. You let them know it's not going to happen, and they either respect it or not. That's it. You don't need to explain anything. This is my boundary. You either respect it or not. If you don't, I'm out. That's it. Okay. And you also have to remember, this is a huge critical. A boundary is not a punishment. A boundary is protection of your sanity, your well-being. Like, it's protecting you. Because if you don't protect yourself, other people are not going to do that for you. Goes back to when I said only you want the best and are going to do the best for yourself. Nobody's going to go out of their way to make sure you become a multimillionaire, super successful. They're going to, hey, yeah, we support you. If you got a business, I'll support it. This is and that. They'll give you motivational words, but they're not going to go out of their way to make sure that you get there. They're more worried about how they're going to get there. They care more about themselves. But then they'll use people who let people get away with like a bunch of shit. So like if you're that type of person that you just let people run over you, they're going to use you however they can because they know they can. So just remember that again, that the boundaries are not there to punish other people. They're there to protect you. That's why we put boundaries. Okay. So your guys' goal for this week, since you guys love this part at the end where I give you guys something to do, this week, I need you to start setting boundaries, because you're listening to this podcast because you have issues with boundaries. whether it be your partner, a family member, work, whatever the case, you need to start setting boundaries. Maybe somebody keeps stealing your snacks at work. Boom. All right, hey, you're not going to steal my fucking snacks anymore. If not, I'm going to report you to HR. I'm going to do this. I'm going to tell this. That's it. I'm done, you know? Or if they like poke fun at you or whatever the case, start with that. Maybe a family member, maybe your partners. You don't like that they do something. This week is the week that you start. I don't care what you say. Like if they're not being intimate with you, this is the week. Hey, we need to fix this. Hey, I don't like that you're liking other people. Hey, I don't like this. I don't like that. You know, but don't attack them that way. Let them know how it makes you feel. Hey, I really feel disrespected when you do this. You know, if they take your snack, be like, hey, like, I really feel disrespected that you're stealing, like taking my snacks when I bring them just to have something to munch on to get me through the day, you know, and I bring them and you take them. You know, I feel real disrespected. I feel like you don't respect me to just leave them alone, right? Let them know how you feel. Don't be like, you need to stop stealing my motherfucking snack. No, okay? Unless you're me, I would tell them, hey, be like, touch my fucking snack again, and we gonna have a problem. No, don't tell them like that. But you know what I'm talking about, right? So this week, this is what I need you guys to do is start setting boundaries, even if you want to start small. And it might be uncomfortable, but guess what? You're gonna be glad you did it. Or you're gonna after you do it, you're gonna be like, yes, I fucking did it. I fucking told them. You're going to build up that confidence to bring stuff up with other people that don't respect your boundaries. So whether you want to start small with your family members, partner, whatever the case, this week, we're going to go into 2026 ready. No more people letting people run over you, disrespecting your boundaries, okay? We need people to respect them, and you're going to respect theirs as well, okay? Anyways, thank you guys for joining me for another episode. I know you guys have been loving these. So give this video a thumbs up, share it wherever you can, share it to somebody that needs people to respect their boundaries so it builds up their confidence as well. NaughtyScience.com if you want to use some toys, you know, build up that confidence too, you know. If you want to think you're your boy, go ahead. But anyways, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys next week. See you guys.